Number one that we're going to talk about, this would be a strange question. At many charging stations, I have seen that when the car owners start charging, they open the charging door and tap the charger against the tail light before connecting it to the car. Why? Question mark.
Laird Popkin has the best comment on this, and he says, "No real reason. Pressing the button on the charge handle opens the door." So for those who don't know, and every time this comment is or this question is asked or we talk about this, people are surprised. There's a dot on a Tesla charger on the top of it, and when you press it, if you're near the car, it automatically opens the charge port. You have to
I'm
have your
glad you
key.
mentioned, Tori, that it's a dot because everybody says you press the button, but it's not really.
Yeah,
It's
it's not
it's
intuitive.
it's
Yeah.
smooth. It's not a obvious button. It's a dot.
There's a dot on the top, yeah,
Yeah.
and so you have to have your key or the car has to be unlocked, and you press that button, it opens. Now, depending on your year and model, you can also tap or press in the charge port if you have your key and it will open, but not all models do that, and I think that that's where this came from is people would use the charger to push in and kinda press in a couple of times on the charge port lens, and then it would open because you can just press it in with your finger, and what the question is about, though, is people tap the tail light. And this, just continuing with Laird's comment here, it says tapping the door also opens it, but pressing the button is gentler on the car. YouTubers started tapping in on the tail light for some reason, and people copied them, I guess. And that's my understanding of what's happened here is that you can press or people would maybe mistake that as tapping on the charge port, but tapping on the back of the tail light, I've seen that. And when I first got my Tesla, I have to admit, even though I knew that didn't do anything, I did it just being silly. And, Ken Schultz says, well, OCD can make you do silly things. Uh, Justin Owen says it's to shake it out any insects or loose dirt that managed to get into the charging connector. Not sure that's a thing. I mean, maybe for some people it is, but if you're going to try to shake out and dust off and get insects out, tap it against your hand, maybe not the tail light because you can scratch the tail light. So way
Yeah,
easier on
that's
the paint just to push the button. I got one more comment. What were you saying, Rod?
yeah, I was just a comment here from Doug Jacobs that he says tapping the tail light is a YouTube thing. It serves no purpose except to scratch up the tail light diffuser. You should also not tap the charge port door with the charger as that will also scratch. You can open the door by pressing gently with your finger or pressing the button on the charger or the icon on the screen in your car or using the app or using the voice command open charge port. That's pretty thorough from Doug Jacobs there. That kind of sums it up.
That is, yeah, Doug, thank you for commenting on that. I've always noticed that Doug's comments are always very thorough and very accurate. So we appreciate that, Doug. Nice job. The last comment that I wanted to mention was by John Lawler, and it says, if I am at a non-Tesla charger, I will tap it with the back of my fingers. I'm not gonna smack my car with another piece of hard plastic and risk damage. So what
Yep.
John is saying here, he has one of the models that if you tap the charge port, it opens, but he's saying I would never do that with a hard charger. But it is a good point. The CCS chargers, the non-Tesla chargers, they don't have the button on the top that communicates with the car to open the charge port. Therefore, you have to do it from the screen in your car, the voice command, tapping it depending on your year and model, or using the phone app to open up the charge port. So those are the ways you can open it.